All right.
Okay. Hello, welcome to another show and tell. Today we'll be having a show and tell with Yoel Kortick, sorry. He's going to talk about Alma Analytics integrations with Tableau Web Data Connector. The floor is yours, Yoel.
Okay, so first of all, everybody sees my screen as far as I can know. Yep, it says there's screen share and everybody can hear me. We already confirmed that with Mehmet. So first of all, I want to define what we are talking about and what we aren't talking about here. We're talking about the integration of Alma, Oracle OBI with Tableau using the Web Data Connector. We're not going to be talking about how to use Tableau, how to make reports in Tableau, etc. We're talking specifically about the integration of Alma Analytics with Tableau. The overall goal being that an institution will be able to use Tableau to import data from Alma Analytics and from whatever other source they want, and something which people have been requesting for some time, to be able to combine the data from Alma Analytics with another data source rather than loading that into Alma Analytics, which often has been requested. We say you have another place, in this case, a data manipulator, a data warehouse, or place where you can make reports with data of various sources. In this case, it's Tableau. And then you can take from both places, Alma Analytics and wherever else you want, and do your reporting in Tableau. We do this using the Web Data Connector. And we've built an HTML page which allows this to be done very easily. There's no programming needed. There's no writing an HTML page, XML page, nothing. Everything is done automatically by simply opening the HTML page, which you'll see how this happens in a moment. Okay, as far as documentation goes, I'm here on the presentations and documents page of analytics. I'm under Home Alma Training Extended Training, and you've got a link here.
Yoel,
Yes, yes.
I cannot see your screen, so if you
Oh,
are
it must have. I am. That's funny because I hit the share screen here. Let's see, screen share. I'm going to hit it again. I see you, by the way. I hope your cookie was good. Let's see, start screen share. It looks like I'm already, let's do screen share. Do you see me now?
I see you.
Oh, I got to choose one. I just chose full screen. Okay, it says you are screen sharing. Everything all right? Okay, now you see my screen. Do you see me in the bottom right corner? How many fingers?
I don't see you, but that's not important.
All right, you don't see me. Fine. Okay, so here we go. So here I'm I'm under Home Alma Training Extended Training, and here we have a PowerPoint, which we're not going to use slide by slide right now, but we will look at it just to see the general makeup of what's happening here. I'm going to open it right here. So everybody can look at this. It's going to cover the main things we're going to see live right now here. And also in the same spot, there's a link to our blog on the Developers Network. Here's the Developers Network. Here's the blog about using the Tableau Web Data Connector. Okay, what do we need? Let's begin. We're going to actually do it now. We need a report in Alma Analytics, knowing the path. We need an API key, and we need Tableau installed on our PC. So let's do that. I'm going to go into an environment here, my demo environment, of course. We never do any of this on anybody's real environments. And we'll go into Alma Analytics, and we're going to take 3 different examples of different reports. Reports which are primarily textual based, reports which have measures and other fields, and one report which is very long, primarily textual, and we're going to make various reports in Tableau with that and show how it hooks up. So first of all, I'll go into analytics here because we're going to get the actual report. And simultaneously, I will also go into the developers network hooked up to this specific environment, because that way we'll be able to get the API key. I could have just had all this copied and pasted in a document, which I actually do, but I want to show everybody how we actually get all of this information. Okay, and of course, once the session's over, I'm going to change that API key just in case anybody's quickly copying down a big long random string of characters. So first of all, we're going to go to the dashboard and we're going to go to applications. I'm in the developers network right now. These are my applications which I've already made, and I have an API key here. I called it all prod, which means I can do everything and it's hooked up to the production. But the main important thing is that in the application information, it's allowing me to use analytics, and it's read and write. Now with analytics, I really only need read. There is no write, but the main thing is it's analytics. If it was only acquisitions, of course, I couldn't use this. So this is my API key. Let's put it on the side for a moment. Okay. Then we need the path of the report I want to use. So now I'm in analytics and we'll get the path. Now there's various ways, of course, to get the path. I'm going to use one of the ways. So I'm going to go to Alma University, which is my demo environment, reports, and let's start with a usage one. So I'll go to usage, and I have a report here which I want to use called JR1 usage for 2017 by month. Various ways to get the path. One way is to go to the properties and take the path. I actually put it in the description so that it's easier to copy, but I'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'll copy the location from here, and I need, together with that, the name of the report. I need the slash at the beginning, and we'll take the name now and add that to the end of the path. And there we go. So now I have the API key, I have the path. Another way, by the way, to get the path is I could open this and copy it from the URL of the browser. Another method, I could go right here where it says path, and I can actually use the escaped version, which has the %2f instead of the actual slash. So I could use that as well. And we said the third thing I need is the Tableau installed on my PC. Now, all of that is going to be here inside this presentation, where there's a section called the 3 necessary elements. So here we say the URL of the Ex Libris web page, also an important one, the path and name of the Alma Analytics report, and the API key, which allows it. So 2 and 3 we have. Let's take a look at number 1. Here it is. This is the path. And let's take that with us. And once you use it once, it's already saved inside the Tableau and you're all set. So let's begin. We're going to use Tableau right now to magically bring this report into Tableau. Let's do it. So I'll open Tableau. And once I'm in Tableau, I want to access the Web Data Connector of Tableau, and that's what's going to hook up to Alma Analytics via the API. So there's various ways I can do that. I can go right into Web Data Connector right here, which I don't think was in the previous versions. I could come here to More and do Web Data Connector. I could say File New and then choose Web Data Connector. Let's just choose Web Data Connector here. And again, all of this for after the session. You've got here, which is how I copied and pasted. Here's how I took it from there. I got a report with Tableau Web Data Connector. Okay, so here I did new connect to data. Also an option. Let's in fact do that option right now.
Joe,
so, yes. Sure, of course.
Can you increase your fonts, because it's very hard to see?
Sure, sure. Okay, I'm going to, the request was I increase my fonts. So I'll do a couple of, oh, I can't do Control Plus here. How can I make my fonts bigger? File, data, server, help. I don't think I can increase my fonts here. It's not a web-based cloud system. If I was in a browser like Alma, I could just do a couple of Control Pluses. Okay, so let's do File, New. Let me get out of here, out of the more. Okay, File, New. There we go. It's down here. And connect to data. Okay, and now we'll choose what we could have done previously, the Web Data Connector. Okay, so now it opens. Enter your Web Data Connector URL. Now, as you can see, I have recent connectors here, and I have the URL that I just copied, but let's paste it in anyway. Now, I'm just going to paste from my mouse. I'm using Ditto for those of you who know. It's just a pasting tool. So now I'm going. Now, this is the whole method which was created to make it easy to connect. Now we're looking at a web page made by Ex Libris, which allows to very easily use the API key to access the report. So now I'm going to put in the API key, which we just copied, the one right here, which I got from the Developers Network about 2 seconds ago, which we saw works for analytics and goes to my production environment. And now the report path. The report path that we said we can put either with the escaped characters or without the escaped characters, which we can copy from the properties of the report, or that we can take from the URL after we run it. Now, Mehmet, the fonts are already bigger, so it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, region, a little secret, it's not mandatory that you choose the region that you are in. It's recommended because it may be quicker that way. I'm going to click the Get Data meanwhile, because that just means which gateway is it going through. If you're in Europe and you choose NA, it'll also work. Okay, so now it's doing the query. It's running the API, and it brought me now the report. We see JR1 usage for 217 by month. I have my 2 columns. I don't see any data here yet, but I can easily see the data. I'm going to click Update Now. So now I'm in Tableau, and I have the data. It's formatted slightly different because now it's formatted according to how Tableau is taking the numbers. For example, they're including a .00 at the end of the journal usage numbers. But if I look at the same report now in Alma Analytics, it's the same thing, 39,941 for January 2017. Same thing here, or better yet, here in Tableau. Let me close this blank one so I don't by accident open that again. Okay, so it's the same data here. If I want to now make a report or a worksheet with this, and I want to mix it with another source, I can open a new worksheet here on the bottom. And like I said at the beginning, we're not going to go so in depth with how to use Tableau. Our main point, basically, now I could end right here and say, okay, we're done. We've brought the data into Tableau from Alma Analytics, but of course, we're going to go a little further. But the main part was done, and as you saw, you don't need to write anything. One of the early attempts by one of our more advanced members of the Alma community, if you recall, was writing an actual, what was it, an XML, but that they wrote that brought an XML bringing the various fields. At the very beginning, you recall, I'm looking at my colleagues here in the room. In any case, you saw now it's just a matter of filling in the API key in the report path, and you got it right here. In any case, let's pop into the sheet, the new worksheet, and now it's bringing the data, and here we are. Now, I don't see anything on the screen, but now I can play around various ways, and now it gets kind of nice. So for example, I'm going to click the horizontal bars here. I could choose one of these various options. I'm going to choose the horizontal bars. And it says, it gives me a little tip here for horizontal bars, try this, try that, but we're just going to play around and see how easy it is. Now I'm going to take, for example, the usage date here. I got my rows and columns. I'll take the usage date and I'll throw it here in the columns. So now I've got something that looks like this. I've got the date. I also want the measure. So now, for example, I'll take this JR1 sum here, my measures, JR1 sum, and I'll put that in the rows. Okay, now we're starting to get something, but we'll keep playing around. Now I'm going to edit this date. Now, if you recall, the date was 2000. Here, you can see it right here on the left of my screen. Excuse me. It's each month. It's the usage each month. So I'm going to edit this date, and I'm going to say I want month. Oh, now we're seeing something. So now you can see I've got the results. It's starting in January. I've got a peak in April. Maybe that was just before exam time and everyone started using our electronic journals. And then it starts going down. We're approaching the summer vacation. Here we're in January. People just got back from the winter break, etc. So I've made a very simple report now using the data which I imported from Alma Analytics via the Web Data Connector. I could also play around here, for example, and swap the rows and columns, and then I've got it looking a little differently here. Let me make this a tad bigger. And I like it actually the other way. I'm going to swap it back. And I could also try, for example, the other ones here, lines discrete, lines continuous. Here's the lines discrete, lines continuous, and all different kinds here. There's also, this is a nice one. I can see which months are bigger or smaller, the packed bubbles, everybody's favorite, the packed bubbles. So we see, for example, January is pretty small, May's pretty big, April's pretty big, etc. I'm just playing around with the data now inside Tableau. We're going to look at a different type of report in a moment. Here I've got a pie. I can play around with the pie by going to the labels and saying I want, for example, the show mark labels, and now I see this, and I could play around more and get the actual month in there, etc. So that's a very basic one. Let me take one, which I'll stop for questions after the next one, because some of those questions may get answered. There's 3 types of reports I want to show. And now I want to go look at one which is primarily text with a lot of rows. So I'm going to close this workbook, which, by the way, I could save this workbook. Let's, in fact, save this one. And I'm going to just call this one. I already got a bunch of workbooks in here that I've been playing around with. And I'm going to call this one JR1 Usage from Alma for 2017 by month. That's pretty specific. Okay, let's take another example here. Now I'm going to go from scratch. So we're seeing again the methods that are used here. Okay, so this time I'm just going to go to Web Data Connector instead of New. And before we do that, let's find another report. So I'll go to Catalog here. I'm back in the same environment that's using that same API key. And as you know, a few releases ago, it might even be a year ago already, we came out with the title level subject area. And in that title level subject area, we have nice ways of doing overlap analysis of physical and electronic. And I've got a nice report here which we're going to use. So first of all, we know we can take the path. This time I'm going to use the path with, with the escaped characters. Okay, this is a long one here. This is just the first 500, and I can go to the next one. And I'm going to come here. Nope, not here. I'm going to come here. And now I don't have to enter the URL again. It's already in there. So instead of me now needing to write some kind of local code to connect to Alma, I'm just going to use this web page built by Ex Libris, and now I'm going to put my report path in with all the escape characters. Just copied it from the URL. I'm going to leave here 500. I want to see something happening. I'm getting max number of rows 500. And I'll stick in my API key from here. Actually, I'll use Ditto. Advertising for Ditto now. Here we go. Okay, and get data. Now it's going to take a tad longer because now it's bringing many more rows. And then we're going to be able to see what happens when we have many textual rows. Okay, here we are. So now I'm in Tableau, and I don't see any of the actual data because I need to do update now or automatically update. I'm going to say update now. It actually brings it now in chunks of 25. We're going to see in a moment when I open my worksheet how that's happening. By the way, who's on the call here? It's not like WebEx where I can see. Mehmet, can you just tell me who's on the call? Uh-oh, is anyone still with us? Wouldn't that be? Oh, I see Mehmet. Okay, I see Joan. Who else? Is it just you and Joan? Oh, he's shaking his head. I can't hear you, Mehmet. Oh, he's not talking? Okay. How can I see who's on the call? Forget it. Hold up a sign. Write it down. Hold it up. Anyway, we'll be serious now. So here I've got the data. And now I want to take this and open it up in a sheet. So I'm going to go to a new worksheet. I could also click here to open a worksheet. And here we go. Here we go. You see getting row, loading data. It's going getting 25, 75, 100, 125, 150. It's bringing it in chunks of 25. And altogether, getting row, altogether it brought 500 because that was what I chose, if you recall. And now I don't see anything just like last time. I need to manipulate my rows and bring them around. So for example, we're probably going to use one of these text tables. I don't need to choose it right now, but that's what I'm going to do. And it says recommended to try one or more dimensions or one or more measures. So let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to choose, for example, the title, and I'm going to stick these in the rows. So I'll take the title, and I'll take the MMS ID, and I'll take the number of physical items, and I can also take the number of portfolios. I know it's not looking all that wonderful, but we're going to play around. Now I'm going to click again here. Now we're starting to see something. I clicked again the text tables. So now I've got the title, which I can rename quite simply. I've got the MMS ID. I've got how many physical items does that have and how many portfolios. Actually, did I put in physical items twice? No. Here's the portfolios. Here's the physical items. I can see, for example, agent preferences and the equity premium, etc. I've got a physical version and an electronic version, and I've got it here in Tableau. I could import now from another data source. There's all kinds of ways to do that up here. New data source, and then I can mix them together. I'm going to take the format of the measures. This is my measure values here, and I can play around with the format. So I'm going to make this standard, for example. I can do various things here. Format of this. Okay, I'm going to make that standard. Great. And oh, I got this in dollars now. You can play around with all different kinds of things here. Format standard. Oh, I did currency standard instead of number standard. That was kind of silly. You see I got the dollar here, It's because that's the number of physical items. That's this one here. When I did format by accident, I chose currency standard instead of number standard, but that's actually good because you see you can play around various ways. So now I don't have the 3 decimal points at the end. I'm just playing around with the format. I'll click here, the tables again. And I also like the format workbook theme. Here we got format workbook theme. I like the classic. Isn't that beautiful? We got different colors and different shadings. Okay. And let's go this into presentation mode. So now we've got a worksheet from Alma Analytics in Tableau, and we have the first 500 rows because that is what we chose. We're going to point out where we chose that in a moment. I'm going to get out of here with escape. Mehmet, is it okay? It's kind of funny. I can't hear you. You can just nod your head.
I'm here.
Oh, now I hear you. Whoa, I hear you. I got a million different.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah. How do you stop this? Anyway.
Just minimize this window or select another window.
Okay, I selected another window. Go ahead, Mehmet.
So Betsy has a question.
Betsy's with us. Betsy Friesen?
Yes.
Hi, Betsy.
She can't talk back, but I pasted her question into the chat.
Okay.
I don't know if you see the chat. She says,
I see. Yoel, did you just say that the max... Oh. Yeah. It says, Yoel, did you just say the max number of rows and then I got a million new ones? Let me try that again. Oh, what is going on here? Very interesting. Why don't you tell it to me, Mehmet?
Okay. So did you just say that max number of rows is the absolute max that can be pulled? Or what about reports larger than that size?
Okay, so did you just say that the max number of reports is the maximum that can be used? Of rows.
Max number of rows, yeah.
Is the maximum that can be used. Okay. Okay, I've got my colleagues in the room here. So the question is, did I say that the maximum number of rows is the maximum that can be used? So let's just refresh ourselves what we did. We came into Tableau, and I'm going to close this worksheet. And just redo it so we know we're all pointing to the same place. So I went into Tableau. She's opening up. And then we're just going to rephrase the question slightly. I clicked Web Data Connector. I went into here. And the question is, confirm, is 50,000 the maximum amount of rows that I can import from an Alma Analytics report? I'm looking at my colleagues as well. Yes. Yes, it is. 50,000. Yeah, 50,000. I see 5 and 4 zeros.
Okay.
It's 500,000? Oh, okay. So we need to update this. 500,000. I'm going to make a personal note here. I'm going to say currently in the pull down box of the Web Data Connector, the max rows is 5 and 4 zeros. We will see if this can be increased to 500. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So that's the answer to that one.
Okay. If people have questions, they can post them on the YouTube chat box, and I can relay them to Joe.
Okay, that sounds good. Meanwhile, let me do my last example, and maybe that'll even spur on some additional questions. This is one more I want to do here, if that's all right with you.
Please.
Okay, great. So let me go back to the catalog, because I want to point out that we're only purely taking data. We're not taking any of the formatting, which I already pointed out, but it'll be more prevalent here. So I'm going to go to Alma University reports and to usage again. And now I have one called Journals Top 10 Titles in the Previous Calendar Year. Okay, so here we see I have a report which includes a table and includes a nice graph in Alma. This is actually one of our graphs from our out-of-the-box default dashboard for usage. And I'm going to take the whole path here with the title, and let's pop back into Tableau. So I've already got the page open here. I've got the full path there now. Now I just need the API key. Get data. Okay, so now it's bringing me the data, 10 rows. And there she is. Okay, so now I have it on my screen. Who knows? Mehmet, you can yell it out if one of the people there is Faye. Let's see who's been following along. What do I need to do now to see the actual data? Now I just see the columns. What do I need to do to see the data? What do I need to click? That's right, update now. So we're going to click update now, and that's going to bring the data. Okay, so now I've got the data here. Now we've always gone to the default made worksheet. I'm going to open a new worksheet right here. And now I'm going into Tableau, and I'm in Tableau with the data. I don't see the data yet. I got to start moving it around, making it here, but I see the data here. I don't think we used the horizontal bar. Oh, we did. We used the horizontal bars already. Okay, we'll start with the horizontal bars and we'll move around a little bit. So for example, I'm going to take the sum usage and I'm going to put that in the columns. Okay, so I've got that up there and I've got what looks like one big giant row. I'll take the display title here for my dimensions and I'll put that in the rows. Oh, now it's starting to look nice, right? And now let's sort it. I can sort here ascending and descending. Okay. And I can even swap them. Let's swap them. Hey, that's nice. I actually like it the other way. Now I can read a little bit more. I can see, for example, that my most used is the Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecological and Neonatal Nursing. The Archive of Women's Mental Health is also a big one, 20,000. That's about right in the middle. We were just talking recently about the medians and the averages. Here's a good example because the Journal of Obstetrics blows everyone off the map here. Might be nice here to use the median. Okay. So this is the last one, and then I can come along here and I can choose different options here, and I can display them however I want. So that brings me to the basics of what I wanted to show. I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint to make sure we covered everything. This is what we did. We opened the Web Data Connector. We entered all the data, came in here. We clicked Update Now. We got our report. We did various manipulations here. We put columns, we put rows, we changed things to dimensions. We looked at how they appear in different ways. So there's no need for me to go through all of this. We all did it live together. We even saved a workbook and it got saved locally. Okay, so Mehmet, if you have anything you want to ask more,
Yes,
Betsy,
go ahead. Betsy has another question. She says, if you save the report now, then everything is all right. But if you come back in a month, and the data will be different then, they did not have been able to make the Web Data Connector update the data, the Tableau data automatically.
Okay, so I'm repeating this for my colleagues here, And I'm writing it down to make sure I understand. You say if you receive the report now and everything works, then you come back in a month, and of course the data probably is different in Alma. So you're expecting it to bring the new data. For example, if you say, correct me if I'm wrong, Betsy and Mehmet, if you say, give me all the loans from the last month with the loan date, if you run that now and then you run it in a month, when you open it in a month, you'll still have a month ago instead of the proper days. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That actually was not my experience, but I believe you. I'm not saying, because I've got one saved here from quite some time ago, as you see, and I've been playing around with them. So here I have one, for example, from April. Journals and cost per use per table graph. I don't know if this is actually still wherever I took it from. So I don't know if I can really check it. But let's see some. Okay, it's opening up. Opening the worksheet. Okay, so you're saying this. Okay, this is in the previous year, so I have no way of knowing if this is really bringing me. But you're saying when you open it like this, it's not bringing the most up-to-date view, correct?
Betsy says, I can't do a live extract with a web data connector.
Okay. Does this refresh all extracts do anything for you? So this is filling it in exactly what I have here. Let's see if this changes actually, then we'll know. But have you tried this refresh?
Well, there's a 30-second delay, so.
A 30-second delay of what? My voice to you, or you getting a response from Betsy?
A response from Betsy, so they hear us 30 seconds later.
Everybody hears us 30 seconds later. Do they see the screen at the proper time and the voice 30 seconds later?
No. So both screen and voice.
Oh, the screen and the voice is 30
Yeah.
seconds later. It's like science fiction.
It is, yeah.
A time warp.
We are in the future.
Yeah, with 30 seconds of our life is gone because there's that gap between when people know what we're doing and in our real life. Okay. In any case,
I am. If you go to the to the Hangout screen, which projects itself multiple times, there's a link in the chat. If you click it, you will see.
Where's the chat? Oh, here.
On the right side.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yoel, did you? Oh, now I can read everything. Okay, so would you like me to not wait for Betsy's response if she chose the...
Well, if you click the link, you will have a direct channel to Betsy and the rest.
Oh, a direct channel to Betsy. Okay, you still see my screen? Oh, look at that. Wonderful.
So maybe that's easier then, and I don't have to be the proxy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so... Okay, so the other issue is you've saved a report. In a month time, that data will update. But we've not been able to make the web data. Okay. Just go to the sheet. Don't hit update now unless you have questions. Okay. Can't do a live extract with the go to data source. This is Michael Johnson, by the way. Hi, Michael. So I'm asking, did you do data refresh? And if so, did that help? What we just did now. Okay. So you should be able to type there and not have a 30-second delay for my voice. Let's see who else we got. Margaret, Jack, back. Anna from Purdue. Oh, nice crowd. Okay, any other questions? Oh, yes, no. So yes is that it did help, and no is that you didn't know. So yes, you did the data refresh, and no, it didn't help. Okay, I'm looking at my colleagues in the room. Do you have any suggestions to somebody who chooses this and it doesn't get refreshed? Pardon? Ah, okay. All right, let me see. I think when I switched back and forth, oh, sorry about that. When I switched back and forth in the million windows opened from the Google Hangout, something happened there. So let me reopen that. Okay, we'll look into that, Betsy. I'm going to write that down right now as a action item with my other action item, and that's going to be, this is action item 1, that we're gonna check about the number of rows. And action item 2 will be, see what happens when report from X days ago is opened from saved worksheet. How can it go and get the latest data automatically, right? Okay, any other questions or comments? Margaret. Okay, so Margaret says from Michael, the web data code appears to use the resumption token. So why does setting the max number of rows result only in that number of rows? Oh, he got that answer. Okay. So are there any other questions? Okay, so Mehmet, is there anything else or should we close now?
Well, if there aren't any questions anymore, then we can call it a day.
Okay. So thanks everybody for the invitation, and you'll send out some kind of
there's another question from Betsy. The lockup issues, he says.
The lockup issue. See above first run. The lockup issue. See above first run. I'm looking above first run. I'm looking above first run. For large number of rows. Let's try a large number of rows. We got some time. I'm willing to try that. We got nothing to fear here. Okay, so I'm going to take that large report that I had, where I chose 500 rows. I'm going to choose a lot more rows. Okay, and let's see what happens. So we're going to say Web Data Connector, and we're going to click right here. And I'm going to choose 25,000 rows. And my report path on that one is going to be the titles. And I'm going to choose my API key.
Margaret says, no, Betsy says the first time you run the Web Data Connector, it is likely to look up unless the report has been run outside of Tableau. So if you have a warm up report, then that will work. If you have a report that you've never run before, that will lock up.
So if I run the Web Data Connector on a report that was never run in Alma Analytics, it gets stuck. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I understand, yes.
I'm not trying to be a wise guy, don't get me wrong, but it sounds weird to have a report in Alma Analytics that you never actually ran, because that's how you know it properly works.
But could also be that, how shall I say, that a report created 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. So not that it never was run. It was never run recently.
Yeah. So maybe
Okay.
it's
5
out
years
of
ago
cache.
it was run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not cached or something. All right, so
It's
it
not.
locks up. Okay, let me write that one down and we'll see what the story is there. So you're saying action item 3 to check. If you run the Web Data Connector on a report which was not run for a long time, then the Web Data Connector will get locked. It gets locked, let me just clarify, before the stage where I am now even?
Betsy?
Or after I go to a worksheet? Okay, let me go back to that chat page. On a given day, not ever, yes. So let me ask, does it get locked when I try to click a worksheet or when I try to submit the Web Data Connector page? Okay. All right, so I got the rows here, and I'm going to put these into a worksheet. What did I do here? 25,000 rows, taking 25 at a time now, so that's going to take a little while. 125, 150, 175. Okay, let's see if we get an answer here. Is there a possibility of providing a way to cancel up locked up refreshes? The canceling of that's already Tableau now, doing a cancel. If the report has been run prior that day, the WC runs the report. The WDC locks when it tries to pull the data. Okay, all right, we'll check that. I'm gonna have to wait here until 2,500 because it's taken 25 at a time. Oh, there we go, writing metadata. Oh, that was actually quite quick. If I was a wise guy, it's almost as quick as Alma, but you know. So anyway, anything else? I'll throw a couple of things in here while we're waiting. Anything else, Mehmet?
Not that I see anything popping up.
Okay. Great. So thanks again for the invitation. And Mehmet, you're going to pull out you're going to give the link to this, correct?
The link to this? Yeah. I sent it this morning to you, so.
Oh, it's the same link now
The
on the Google. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks again, and everybody have a nice day.
Thank you, Joel, for having. Oh, yeah. Betsy sent out a ticket number so that you can check.
Okay, great. Ticket number. Okay, I'll see what's going on with that ticket.
Okay, but anyway, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you.
And if you have questions on the webinar, then let me know.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everybody, and see you next time.